Thanks for coming round. We'll make you laugh before you go. Welcome to the Mermen. Welcome to the show.
I'm totally down to do an Australia tour sometime.
I don't want to record that.
No, let's talk about it. You want to go to Australia?
Yeah, I was saying we should do an Australia tour sometime.
Yeah, we got our buddy Richard who calls in on the phone line. We could probably crash on his couch.
We'll do it better than that. But I think we could arrange it. I'm not, smaller venues.
So, I sell my rub off my website, DaveWilliamson.com.
Are you done talking about Australia?
No. This ties in. And twice I've had Australian fans order my rub.
Takes about 3 weeks.
And I'm like, forget about how long it takes, what it costs.
Yeah, about $25 probably ship.
Like $80 one time.
Wait, why $80? I've sent stuff to Australia. What do you?
Well, did you send a big, heavy package of rubs?
But how much rub are you sending?
2 bottles.
Yeah, but what does your rub weigh?
Like a pound a piece, 2 pounds.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never gotten a thing of rub. No one's ever offered it to me.
And I've never given you a rub?
No.
I'll rub it down right now.
I've only had your
Forrest,
I've only had your barbecue fresh one time. So when you did the I don't know about that podcast. Other than that, I've had some cold barbecue once.
Well, I'm going to be cooking all night tonight. Come over to the house tomorrow.
I mean, you haven't brought it over here. You figured we'd do that.
You guys want me to bring barbecue to you sometime here?
Yeah.
I can do that.
I've been waiting for that.
Yeah, you live right close to here.
Let's go.
You're bringing beer, just getting drunk.
I'm
Getting
late tonight because I
drunk.
was cooking steaks for the whole neighborhood.
You haven't been drunk in a while on the podcast. Should be fun.
Let's go. Yeah, no, it was $80, man. The U.S. Post Office. I think it was when it was like things were like getting out of control a little bit, and I was started thinking about it, and I wrote the guy and I go, hey man, I don't think it's gonna be cost effective for either of us for me to mail you rubs. So maybe we could just make it happen another time. And he was like, oh, I get it, man. That's really cool. I just wanted to support you. And the guy was like, so nice about it. And so then I felt guilty and I was like, man, do I just eat the $80 and like
Wow.
have a fan for life?
Okay. Is he still your fan?
I mean, I sent it to him and he wrote me a thank you note.
Is he listening to the Mermen podcast?
I don't know. I forget his name. I'll have to hit him up.
Richard?
Yeah.
Nah. Well,
Maybe
if
it is Richard.
If he's not listening to the podcast, you wasted fucking $80. If you're not even listening to this podcast, like,
All right. Well, I'll follow up with him. I can figure it out.
say, hey, have you subscribed to the Mermen podcast? I spent $80 fucking on it.
Yeah. I own you.
And not 80 Australian, 80 American.
Even
So,
if you don't like it, you need to listen.
But we could do a tour down there sometime. We'd have to do. I'm not saying do we bring Louise with us? Are we doing podcasts?
I mean,
So it's
Luis,
getting expensive,
what if Luis paid his own way, but we we hooked him up,
What does that mean?
like we'll show him a good time.
Bring him to a brothel?
Well, give him some VIP passes.
To the shows, our stand-up shows?
I've never been to Australia.
Well, here's where we would do the shows if we're going to do them. You do Melbourne. There's a club. There, Sydney, Brisbane. That's probably what you would do. Perth is on the other side of the country. There is opportunity to do it there, but it's very, it's like flying from New York to LA or Miami to LA. It's like, it'd be a whole nother ball of wax. But
What about New Zealand?
I know it looks close on a map. It's about 3.5 hour flight.
Easy peasy.
I mean, yeah, we can go to New Zealand too, but whatever. Like, why don't we just go to Budapest while we're at it?
Okay.
Czech Republic, we're huge there.
Is Budapest cool?
Why don't we just stick to one country at a time? But
All right.
we could. While you're down there, but yeah. But we need to make sure we can sell some tickets down there. So
we'll just do pre-sale, and if people don't come through, then we'll go, it's your fault, Australia. We're not coming.
okay.
Right.
I don't know how big of a crowd do you think we're gonna get, but we'll see. Yeah, maybe Jim will.
Promote it for us?
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe he puts out in the story. We sell it out.
All right. I wanted to go.
We'll have him lie. We'll have Jim Jeffries is opening for us. They'll be like, sell out. Like,
he got double booked
had to
last
cancel.
minute. So sorry. We'll pull a Mankey.
It was $10 tickets. Yeah. Anyways, it'd be fun. You've never been there, right?
I wanted to go when I was in college. I was dating a girl who was going to study abroad in Ireland. And I was like, why would you ever do that? Why would you give up a semester of your college experience to go somewhere where you don't know anybody?
Yeah, you could be doing keg stands in Alabama.
Exactly. So spring break, I went and visited her. And when I got there, I was like, oh, this is awesome. So I spent a week in Ireland visiting her. And I was like, all right, this is cool. So we broke up, but then I went and visited the study abroad counselor at my school, and I was like, I want to go to Australia because I want to go during the summertime when it's not water polo or football season, and I want to just.
But it'd be cold there during the summertime.
I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah.
So I thought I was just going to be surfing and meeting Australian
Well, it depends where you're in
babes.
Australia, but if you're in like Sydney or Melbourne, it would be cold. Yeah.
Well, this nerd talked me into, he's like, hey, it's cold in Australia during that time. He's like, you should go to Switzerland. We have a really good exchange program with Switzerland. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I don't know, Switzerland. I mean, what am I going to do there? And so I did a little bit of research and found out that Switzerland is very centrally located. So I was like, well, that could be cool because we had 3-day weekends. So I could go to, Germany and Italy and France, and it was all real easy to jump around. I'm like, I could do that. I've never been to Europe before, So I did that. I got talked into going to Switzerland, and it was actually a really cool experience. One of my best friends I grew up with, he was going to University of Illinois. He was supposed to go with me, and he got bad grades and couldn't go last minute, so I had to just go by myself. But I made a lot of friends there, and I had a good time. Okay. There was another Dave in my little group of Americans, and they called him. The story's
boring.
They called him Timid Dave and me Loud Dave.
Is the story going to get better?
And just partied my ass off in Switzerland for like the whole summer. It was a good time. What do you want to know?
Thought there was going to be a fun thing at the end of this.
I mean, it was a big blur, to be honest.
Some guy died at the end. We found him in Lake Geneva.
I skated through my classes.
Let us know, Australia. How many of you listening wants us to come to Australia?
Pre-sales.
We're doing a pre-sale poll.
Yep. Just Venmo me at Dave W Comedy to insure your tickets.
We'll be there next summer.
If you want to donate your flight miles to us.
We could get there cheaper. If you get it, if we plan that out way in advance, you can get cheap enough tickets. Anyways, maybe some people will follow us from the States. Maybe that guy that called drunk from Georgia. Yeah. Whatever his name was. Didn't leave his name.
Do you work for Australian Airlines, drunk Georgia guy? If so, look it up.
If it works for Delta, we can get there.
That's
Delta
true.
flies there.
Yeah.
Get on there. Put some Sky Mouse. Yeah, medallion qualifier. I'll tell you what, if we go down there, we can go to the Great Barrier Reef and get those tails. We got to do that first.
Oh.
I think first things first, we got to get a mermaid.
We got to get those tails, bro. We got to do a photo shoot with those tails.
I don't know if we have to do a photo shoot. We got to learn how to swim.
If we get the...
Yeah, but it's not.
We get the tails. We're doing a photo shoot. We're gonna do videos. We're gonna get underwater. We're gonna go to the Bahamas and find reefs.
We should do them here in Louise's backyard first, just dry on land, just on the concrete. Pool. Yeah.
What if we? All right. What if we got those tails, and we threw a party one night, invited a bunch of people that we knew, and then when everyone came over, we were just in the pool with the tails, like acting like it was normal. We never explained ourselves. We didn't tell them about it ahead of time. They just showed up and we're like, hey, how's it going?
And if they ask questions about it, what's up with the tails?
Oh, we don't like to talk about it.
No. You don't even answer it. You just change the subject. So, you see that game there tonight, man?
Yeah.
Refs were calling fouls for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are like, why are you guys in the pool with tails on? We're like, pool feels great. Hop on
barbecue, man. There's pulled pork.
Yeah.
There's some beef ribs, whatever you want. Yeah. Who has the pool we're going to use?
I don't know. We got to figure that out.
Yeah. That person will have to be in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Who has a pool?
Bert.
Yeah, Jim's got a pool. We're going to have to hit one of them up.
We're really dependent on these guys.
Gonna have to hit one of them up. Can we have a party at your house? Invite people over.
We can get just like the kiddie pools, and we're just in the front yard. We have to be hosed down, or we die.
I'm okay with that. And a kiddie pool. That would be even funnier if we just have our individual kiddie pools.
Hey guys, pull up a Adirondack chair.
A what?
How do you say it?
Adirondack?
Adirondack.
Adirondack.
Did I say it right?
Yeah. It's like isn't that a mountain range? Adirondacks?
I don't know. Is that what it's named after?
Yeah, I believe so.
I always wondered why they grabbed such a confusing name
Until we've done this podcast, I didn't realize that you didn't know how to say a lot of words.
There's certain words I have a real hard time with.
I thought you were better at saying words until we did this podcast.
Well, you know what's funny? Speaking of Bert, is my whole life, at least as long as this guy's been relative, I've never been able to say Ben Affleck. I always say Ben Affleck. And it's driven my wife crazy from day one.
Why do you say Ben Affleck?
Just
you guys watching Good Will Hunting every week?
Well, when he first became famous, I would say his name came up in most people's conversations quite frequently.
Why?
He was very famous.
He's still famous, and I probably say his name 3 times a year.
Well, for whatever reason,
Even if I'm referring to a movie, like the other day, I even said The Town, which is a movie he was in. I still didn't say his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whenever I would say Ben Affleck, I say Ben Affleck, and then I found out Bert has the same affliction. He's got the Ben Affleck affliction, where he just says Ben Affleck, and I think we're the only 2 humans on the earth that I've ever known that have done that.
That reminds me of a joke I stopped doing that I gotta bring back.
Really?
Yeah.
About Ben Affleck?
Now it was about words that it was about how, like, as time has progressed, there's words you can't say. Like, we used to say retarded, but now you can't say that anymore.
Yeah.
And so, but it's not a big deal. Like, people get upset, and then I would talk about all the words that you don't say anyways in human language. So just you know, and then I would say, but there's other words I can't say too. And then I would say, like, rural. I can't say that word properly. And that was the joke, because other words I couldn't pronounce properly. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
so my going to Switzerland for semester was born, but you're running bits. Okay.
No, you said what was a joke? I said you wanted to know. I'm not running the bit. That's not how the bit goes.
Luis, cut all of Forrest out of this episode.
You think that's how I run my that's how I do my jokes on stage? You know I'm a very physical comic.
I know that about you.
I would have fallen over like this.
Yeah, I know that about you.
Then I've got like a lot of props.
Second quarter.
Hey, did you see the Instagram post about Sinbad the other day?
Yeah, what's up with him? He's sick.
It looks like he was bit by a zombie.
He got a stroke like a year ago, maybe a little bit more.
I knew he was sick. Did we talk about Gallagher dying?
I don't think so.
Yeah, this is trending. All these old comics.
Yeah, I met Gallagher one time.
I've met him several times.
Really?
Yeah, he was a piece of work. But so Sinbad, hold on, he had a stroke.
Yeah,
I saw the picture of him. I was scrolling through some feed, and I didn't even know it was him. I thought it was some guy like in a metal band. He looked terrible. And then when someone said I was Sinbad, I go, oh, fuck. So
looked like a raccoon.
He looks terrible. So I guess he's not doing well.
Doesn't look good.
Shout out to Sinbad. He's very funny.
Legend.
And then Gallagher died. If you guys don't know who Gallagher is, look him up. He was a comic that recorded, I want to say like a bazillion fucking honestly, I think he recorded like 20 specials or some shit. Like,
let me tell my Gallagher stories, and then you need to talk about the article that you love.
Yeah, I can read it if you want.
Let me. I don't
have my reading glasses, but I can read most of it.
I don't want to follow that, so let me go first.
Okay.
So Gallagher. First of all, I remember when I was very young, and he was like at the height of his fame. My parents were going to see him live, and they got like front row tickets, and they were so excited. And their friends came in Miami. In Miami.
Okay.
It was probably like the old Miami Arena or something.
I'm looking for the article.
So my parents' friends came over to our house to like, pre-party, and then they were all going out. And I remember them just so excited, and they had the plastic they were going to bring with them.
Do you know who Gallagher is?
The watermelon guy, right?
Yeah.
He had a thing called a sledge-o-matic. It was a giant fucking sledgehammer, and he would smash. At some point, he started smashing fruit at the end of his set.
And he had Capri Suns he'd walk up and step on to catch Jeff Guard.
Shit on him. And so the people in the front row, that's why his parents had plastic.
They were dressed up all nice, but then they had brought plastic. So, and then they came home and they had all the merch. They bought all the merch there. And it's the first time I've seen my parents, when it comes to comedians, like be a fan, of something and be excited to going, like the hot ticket,
Yeah.
So it's funny, like I try to remind myself of that now when people come out to see us when we're, doing these big venues and stuff, that like, that's going to be someone's Gallagher. Probably even more so now, but
did you just realize that story sucked again?
So I met Gallagher decades later. I'm in Vegas, and I was doing the World Series of Comedy, and there was one night where a couple people were just hanging out late night in the venue. Like everything was done, everything was closed. We're just there having a few drinks, and all of a sudden there's this like old guy hanging out with us, and he's got a whiskey, and we're all talking, and he starts telling stories, and like 15 or 20 minutes into this guy's stories, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm like, stories are outrageous, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like staring at him. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And then he said something that made it click. I go, oh my God, this is Gallagher. But I sat there and chatted with him for 20 minutes at least before I even knew who he was. And so then he goes, I'll tell you, you want to know what insulting is? I'll tell you what's insulting. Jack Black left me a voicemail the other day trying to buy the rights to my life. Offered me $10,000 for my life story. And he played the played the voicemail, and it was Jack Black. He was like, "Hey, Gallagher, skiddly bop, it's Jack Black." He's like, "Just seeing how you doing. Wanted to buy the rights to your life. How's 10,000 smackaroonies sound?"
Oh wait, so it really was Jack
It
Black?
really was Jack Black trying to buy the rights.
That is very low.
Right. And
Like
so,
you should at least start at 50 or 100.
how do you like it when you lowball someone over a voicemail?
Because look, here's the thing about Gallagher. Like in the end, his life was very. I mean, he was headlining clubs. I was headlining. Just
Yeah.
to put that. This is a guy that
Yeah,
did.
you were headlining him on your way up. He's headlining him on his way
yeah,
down.
and this is a guy that did at least 10 Showtime specials. He was kind of a wordplay guy, not of the level of like a Carlin or something like that, but his jokes weren't bad. You know, he had like good jokes and stuff, and then he would smash fruit and stuff. But then he became a joke because people like, you know, they make fun of him on The Simpsons or Family Guy or something. This fruit smash guy, you know.
Yeah, remember Chappelle Show did the Black Gallagher.
Yeah, Black Gallagher. And then here's the crazy thing. At some point, he was Leo Gallagher, I think. And then,
his brother.
And then he had a brother who looked very similar to him. And I want to say his name was Robert. You can look it up. But he had a brother. And his brother said, "Hey, can I do your act too? Like smash fruit and shit like that." But I'm not going to. At this point, Gallagher was doing big clubs and theaters and stuff. He goes, "But I won't say it. I'll just say, I'm not you. I'm going to call myself Gallagher 2, like TOO, or Gallagher the number 2. And I'll do smaller venues." He goes, "Yeah, as long as people know that you aren't me, that's fine." So then at one point there was 2 Gallaghers doing the same thing. They were doing the same fucking routine, and you'd smash the fruit, but then you'd be like, "Oh, we're seeing Gallagher 2," and you'd see him at like some shit fucking club in the middle of fucking someplace, and they'd be like, "Oh, it's this fucking other Gallagher," but it looks just like him. He has the crazy hair and the suspenders, and woo, takes out the. And then at some point, his brother decided that he was gonna try to trick people that he was the other real
Gallagher one.
So then he started doing like some bigger venues and make more money. And then his brother had to get a cease and desist order. They sue him. He had to sue his own fucking brother.
Yeah,
that's why Jack Black wants to write to him. His fucking story is crazy. And then he stopped doing it. And then he was kind of like on the way down, was doing these shittier clubs. But when you would go to the clubs, like one time I was in this club in Appleton, Wisconsin. Not Appleton, in Neenah, Wisconsin, near Appleton. And I go, there was like a fucking shopping cart filled with shit from like a dollar store and like Walgreens and stuff. I go, "What is it?" He goes, "Gallagher was here last week and he made us take and go shopping at like the Dollar Tree and fucking CVS and shit. And he just starts throwing this shit out from stage. And during the day, he was like day trading. Like he was day trading, but like in a bad way, like a gambling sort of way that I do. Like that's what he's into. And I think he stopped showering and wore deodorant. He was just kind of losing his mind, right? Then it came to a point where he decided, like, oh God, what year was this? 19...
In our text thread of friends, we've shared this article multiple times.
1999.
We always go back to this.
1999. He decides, like, man, you know, like, I guess he said there's this untapped market of Spanish-speaking people.
Wasn't wrong.
Yeah, and so I should start learning how to do my act in Spanish and stuff like that. So he supposedly learned Spanish, but he didn't really. He didn't learn no Spanish, but he booked the theater in Cerritos, like California here, which, how far is that from here? It's like, Louisa.
40 minutes, maybe?
Yeah, but it's like predominantly Hispanic area and stuff.
Do you have relatives there, Luis?
Probably. It's a numbers game at this point.
So I don't know if there's video there. I don't know if there's video of this, but a reporter went there to the LA Times, and he wrote the whole article of like what went on there. And I'm just going to read.
It's great.
I'm going to read it to you really quick. And he never says his name is Gallagher, though. In the article, he just says the man, like kind of thing. So he goes, how to put this delicately. Well, simply, mime-like, stringy-haired man in black hat smashes food with mallet on stage for a living. Man who knows speaking no Spanish, hears Spanish, thinks Spanish good, Spanish muy muy dinero. Man spends 1 month learning important Spanish words such as cerveza, caca, and culo. Man invents Spanish words such as spermo and embarazamante.
Spermo.
Yeah. Man decides this is enough Spanish to put on show for Latinos. Man smashes piñatas, wears giant sombreros, shakes keg-sized maracas. Man mocks Jews and gays. Okay, here we go. So I have to zoom in because I have my glasses. So then he goes to the show, right? He goes, man mocks Jews and gays, women and constipated old people. Man thinks he is muy funny comedian. Man hopes all Spanish speakers agree. So he goes, man rents hall in Cerritos. Man advertised Gallagher in Espanol, La Fiesta Grande on Spanish radio. Man hopes thousands come, 200 come. Many with children and babies and old, possibly constipated people. A man babbles for 3 hours Thursday night in language neither English nor Spanish. Okay, it's called Gallagher Bonics. So here's the show. So I'm gonna read it to you. What happens? Here we go. Man hires dance troupe to open show. Man performing for mostly Mexican American audience. Dance troupe called Salsa Kids performs Puerto Rican dance style. Male dancers wear guayaberas, the 4-pocket shirts worn by old Cuban men. A Miami Mexican-American audience appears unimpressed. Stone-faced say, ugh, bad medicine. Is this like ballroom? A woman in the audience asks. Okay. Here's where it gets good.
So he just got a bunch of Spanish culture stuff and thought it would
and
make
they don't know,
sense.
and I don't think any of these people know who the fuck Gallagher is, right? First row audience are in white plastic chairs. People in white plastic chairs equipped with clear plastic bag to wear over clothes because later mayonnaise and refried beans will spew all over them. Signs warn.
Oh, the beans.
Signs warn. Cuidado. Piso resbaloso. Wet floor. Man shoots water on audience from giant penguin after salsa dancers leave stage. Hold on. I'm sorry that I have to read it like this, but I'm behind the paywall now. Man jokes about black people and blind people in bad Spanish. Says show is sponsored by Culo Cola, the soda with the taste of an expletive. An audience, Deborah Garcia, 50, is bored and thinks the show is immature and plans to leave early. Okay.
She should get her Cola out of there.
Yeah. Man appears with penguin and yells, "Como este hombre no está en mi show? Vámonos." Second assistant comedian who actually does speak Spanish comes on stage. Her name is Diana Ortelli, and she is Mexican-American and makes a living mocking Jennifer Lopez's bottom, stereotyping Chicanos. And then man helps throw chocolate at crowd. Man says, "Quien no tengo chocolate?" Translation, who I don't have chocolate. No one's sure what he's saying. Man introduces chupacabras. Chupacabras are goat-sucking monsters seen in Puerto Rico 3 years ago. Man in ape suit pretends he is goat-sucking monster. Man forces child on stage with monster. Man asks, "Quien tiene más pelo de chupacabra?" So, if you don't speak Spanish, translation, who has more hair of chupacabras? Child makes disgusted face, jumps off stage. Man babbles about goat sucker. Es muy fuerte. Translation is very strength. No one laughs. Man frustrated tries to say espectaculo, which means show, but says spectaculo, which sort of means butt gazer. All right, here we go. So this is where it gets really good. Man mocks rock band. Fulano Total from Miami plays well. Man wears giant parachute dress and dances. Man spray paints a lie on the back wall. Yo no soy gringo. Man says in Spanish that he is a cowboy. Man says he is newborn Mexican and caresses his naked haired belly. Man tells joke about bear and rabbit pooping. Man gathers audience volunteers for Mexican hat test. Says tengo un muchacho over and over. No one laughs. Culo, culito, until people laugh. Man says moco for extra humor. Man is tired of trying. Man says in English, "I need a beer." Man curses under breath off mic, but audience hears anyways.
Boy, how many times you been there?
Yeah. Man begins dumping buckets of food onto plates. Man stops trying to speak Spanish. Man gives up and speaks English. Man says, "We were expecting a big crowd tonight, and we're going to do a show for a big crowd anyways." Because the crowd is small and shrinking, man is booed again. Man yells, "It's a 4th of July weekend and you don't have no place to go, so just shut up." Man hits Pop-Tart with a tennis racket. Man says, "Un muchacho quiero comer," which means "I want to eat a boy." And the boy looks scared.
It's the chupacabra.
Many people have paid between $21 and $26 per ticket. Walk out as man flashes white underpants and yells, "Culo, culo, culo," and cerveza. Man, angry Latinos have no sense of humor. Man throws egg and marshmallows at old woman and baby as they waddle out of theater. Man calls old women vulgar name in English. Man spits beer on children. Man, some in audience too polite to leave, others impolite enough to boo. One courageous enough to hurl a lunchbox-sized chunk of watermelon at man's head. Man smashes food with a 16-pound mallet. Man says inexplicably, "Todo el mouthwash, el hits me and el cracho." Man sings La Cucaracha. Man smashes more food. Show over. Man slips on food on stage. Anyways, that's what
I would watch that act 3 of a movie.
So that's the only thing is like, so you can imagine he's just there. This guy, he used to be on Showtime and all these other
Jack
specials.
Black's like, "I'll throw 10 grand on that."
Yeah, that I guarantee you, Jack Black wanted to recreate that thing because that's like when he was on Mark Maron's podcast, WTF podcast. He's interviewing Mark Maron's interviewing him, And he
Gallagher
goes,
ran out, right?
yeah, he goes, hey, what happened in Cerritos, like with that show? And he goes, I'm not going to talk about it, whatever. And he just fucking left the fucking thing, like the WTF podcast. I mean, that's what I've read happen. I've never listened to it.
No, you can hear it. It's up.
Oh, you heard it? Yeah, okay. So I guess he just walks out and fucking Mark Maron. He's like, I'm not talking about this. So
He like storms out.
fall from grace, but I think he just kind of, for lack of a better term, lost his mind.
Yeah.
Kinda
Well,
like, which you would do in show business over that long period of time.
In his final years living in Vegas and kind of hanging around the Vegas comedy scene, I mean, I think the local guys liked talking to him, and he would, he still liked being around comics.
He'd have stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was nice enough to everybody.
Yeah, I don't think he was mean ever. He was just kind of like off his rocker, but like not completely out there, because you would want to talk to him and be like, well, you've seen a lot of shit. You've been around comedy a lot, but it is kind of that cautionary tale where it's like, well, this is what the fucking business will do to you eventually. Well, they'll just spit you out when you're not worth anything. They'll be like, well, fuck you. And then you're doing these shit fucking clubs that I'm doing on the way up. And then you're like fucking trying to do this shit where you're like, I'm going to learn Spanish and fucking try to do this. And you're like, ugh.
Well, the thing that he told me that stuck with me was he goes, I can't believe he offered me that. He goes, I've been rich, so I understand what having real money is.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I've been poor. He goes, but I've never been poor enough to only like to sell my dignity for 10 grand or whatever it was.
He's dead now. I wonder how if you can make a movie when someone's dead. I don't know. But I'm telling you, before he died, I'm always like, why is there not a movie about Gallagher? Mm-hmm. I mean, he was at the top. Then he had his brother steal his act. He did this fucking thing is legendary. That in a movie, that scene, that act of him trying to expand and this and smashing refried beans and someone throwing something at him and then like hitting a pop.
Yeah, let's get on it.
Insane.
Let's see if we can get the rights.
Yeah,
Reese, could you look into that?
Let's offer him $15,000. Fucking Jack Black.
$10,002.
We can scrap that together. But yeah, as much as we're making fun of it, at the same time, it's like, nah, I can see how you fucking lose your fucking shit.
Yeah, R.I.P. Gallagher. Hey,
yeah,
drink to you.
Yeah, or was it his brother that died?
R.I.P. One of the Gallaghers.
Gallagher 2. He's gonna fucking do his act. Maybe that guy's dead. Is Gallagher 2 dead?
Let's find out.
Yeah, look it up.
I honestly thought Gallagher was dead the whole time since he was like not in the spotlight.
Yeah, I think he's Leo.
Gallagher 2 is gonna die this month. What a hack!
Yeah, stole his shit. Fucking sue him. His brother's gonna sue him from the grave. You can't steal my shit. Yeah, he used to have this fucking from the 70s. Anyways,
third quarter.
Yeah, that same club that I was talking about is where I worked with Screech. R.I.P. too.
Yeah, man, a lot of people died.
Yeah, a lot of comics die.
I think it's the vaccines.
Yeah, probably vaccines or the life of being a comedian. One of the two.
A lot of people, I notice now that I'm old enough to maybe have some perspective on this, I realize a lot of people that die young probably did a lot of coke in their life.
Okay. I mean, maybe, yeah. Yeah, I think you're basing this on comedians, so.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah. I think a lot of comedians have done coke.
Yeah.
But how much coke have they done?
Well, not like I tried it once kind of thing, like.
Yeah, but I've done
like
coke. I've done coke, but I haven't done a lot.
Yeah, but they've like partied.
Yeah, okay, but you're doing the weird hand gestures.
Party, you know what I mean?
Like, but you still don't know how much people have done. Like sometimes people think people have done more than they've done.
Okay, yeah, I don't have. Yeah, you're right. I don't have numbers to back it up.
What drugs have you done? You can't say your son listens to this.
Not much.
Caffeine, beer.
Yep. Very entry level drug user.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Heroin.
No.
Yeah.
One time at a concert, a girl. This is a
You're
class.
looking at the wall now for some reason.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how to word this.
Pretty nervous.
Yeah. Well, we could always edit.
Yeah.
I was at a concert and I was definitely drinking some pops. And this girl was like, hey, she was kind of flirting with me. And she was like, can you help me? And I go, yeah, sure, we need. And she handed me this little tiny Ziploc bag that she couldn't get open. So I'm such an idiot. I thought I was just like opening a jar of pickles for her, you know? I'm like, oh, I'll help you out. Sure.
Like a little drug bag.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I
And
popped.
you had never seen that before?
I mean, I just was drunk and wasn't, it was like a girl's talking to me. And
What do you think it was? Like some seasoning?
I don't know, maybe she's some
Just got some
allergy
fish and
medication.
chips. Yeah.
I was real just absent-minded about it. So I pop it open and I hand it back to her. I go, there you go. Have a good concert,
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, you deserve a reward. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. and she put her finger in the bag and she rubbed it in my gum.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, oh, thanks, I think, whatever. And I don't remember a lot after that.
Wait, she rubbed your gum.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that.
Yeah.
Why'd she do that?
I don't know.
That was coke.
I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Something.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
You don't
it was-
remember a lot after that?
Well, I mean, I was drinking a lot.
Okay, you talk a lot normally. Did
Yeah.
you talk more after that? I can't imagine you on coke. That would be my worst nightmare.
Oh, man. Yeah, it wouldn't be good for
It's
anybody.
tough enough to be around
I've
you
never-
like, without any.
No, I've never done coke.
Yeah, that'd be bad. It's. Let me tell you, I've done almost every drug you can think of, and then some you've never heard of. And if I was ranking them as a BuzzFeed article, coke would be the last one always.
In what way?
The worst.
Like, not fun to do?
It's just stupid.
Really?
Yeah, it's dumb. Whenever people are doing it, I'm like, why are you doing this? It's fucking dumb. It's the least fun. The buzz is the worst. It doesn't last that long. Then you chase the high always, and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially now.
Like, if I give you pros and cons, way more cons than pros. Yeah.
Okay.
People are always like, yeah, but you can drink a lot and then you can drive home. Oh, sounds like a good plan.
Well, yeah, but then they invented Red Bull, and we're like, oh, we're cool.
Sounds like a good plan.
I mean, Red Bull alone was like a dangerous game changer for me. Like, I started working for him when I was still partying pretty hard in my early 20s, and we would get like a free case of Red Bull a week, and I'm like, score. And then when we should have been passing out at like 2 a.m., all of a sudden we're up to like 4 or 5 a.m. Like, let's go streaking. We're still awake.
I got suspended from my job as a marine biologist because I tested positive for cocaine. For 2 weeks, I got suspended. And I was not doing cocaine.
Oh, really? What do you think did it?
Well, I had like diverticulitis, which I've had recently.
Had you been to any like concerts recently? And like maybe someone
Let me tell you what
shoved something
happened.
in your-
Let me
okay.
tell you what happened. As once a year, minimally, we would get tested for drugs at my job because I worked for the county, and we get a full physical because we're scuba diving. And just so you know, kids out there, if you're doing drugs and you're going to get drug tested.
PSA.
Yeah. The really hard drugs, coke, crack, heroin, all that stuff, that's out of your body in like 48 to 72 hours, unless they do a hair sample. So you have to be a real addict if you are testing positive for that, because especially they told me that I was getting my physical was going to be in like 10 days, so I knew. So I wouldn't be out there doing. Let's just start with that. If I was out there doing drugs, I'd be like, well, I guess I don't want this job anymore. So let's start with that. But I take the drug test, I do the physical, it's a whole involved physical for scuba diving stuff, and then I just get called in the office by my boss and then my boss's boss, and they tell me like, hey, you tested positive for cocaine, and I was like, what the fuck? But by the way, I'm in there because I have this pain in my abdomen. It was the first time I ever got diverticulitis, which is I literally
Diverticulitis.
we talked about it last episode. I've had, but I was like in so much pain. I had stayed home. I'm sorry, I was sick, and they said you have to come into work, talk to us. I was like, all right. I came in. I'm sweating.
Yeah.
From this infection.
You look like a cokehead.
I look like I'm on drugs. So they come in and they're like, you tested positive for cocaine. And I'm like,
That doesn't sound like me.
it looks like I'm jonesing. I'm just like, I haven't, like, first of all, what I wanted to tell them is I haven't done coke in 4 or 5 years because I had done it before in my life, you know? That's not the argument you use at work. Hey, I've done it plenty of times. But I had done it, but it just wasn't a drug of choice of mine. I had done it a couple times. But I was like, what? And I'm like, but I look like I'm in withdrawals from some sort of drug, you know? And they're like, well, here's what you got to do. You're going to be suspended without pay for 2 weeks. And then you're going to have to drug test to get back in.
Rehab.
You have to go to this counselor for the county. And then the counselor of the county said, you have to go to these sessions where other people that are quote unquote drug addicts or have drug problems, you know, you go to these like group therapy sessions. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not a drug addict. And they're like, well, if you want to keep your job, you have to do this.
Yeah.
So I had to go to Jackson South.
Play the part.
Right near your house, like, you know, the Jackson South.
Yeah.
I had to go there twice.
Cool. I'm glad they were sending all the drug addicts down to my old neighborhood.
I had to go there
Thanks, guys.
I had to go there twice a week and sit there with a bunch of people that were cocaine addicts and pretend I was a cocaine addict. And I had to do 2-hour sessions. I had to do 25 of them. And when they initially brought me in, the guy that like does like an initial like, hey, what are you here for? And he interviewed me for about 30 minutes. He goes, I don't think you have a cocaine problem. I'm like, yeah, I don't. I didn't do any. I didn't do any cocaine.
Could you just sign this for me?
He goes, if you want to keep your job, you have to be here. I go, well, I'm a compulsive gambler. And he goes, well, why don't you talk about gambling in these things? And you can do that. It's all addiction and stuff. I was like, yeah, okay. So I'd literally be like sitting in there and these people would be like, and then then I missed the birth of my kid. I was gone for like 4 days. No one could see me or anything. And I was just, I was in this fucking house doing cocaine for a while. And then the next person would be like, yeah, I fucking hit a person with my car.
You ever find a severed leg in your car with you?
It was all these terrible cocaine stories. And I was like, yeah, man, one time I had this 3-team teaser, and I was like, I had a lot of money on the
parlay was right there for the taking.
I would only tell gambling stories, and everyone would look at me like I was the biggest fucking asshole. I'm like, hey, I don't have any cocaine stories. Like one time I stayed up all night with my friend. It wasn't a big deal.
You're like, every time I've done cocaine, it's worked out pretty nice, actually. Had a great time.
Yeah, had a threesome.
Had the appropriate level of drugs.
Yeah, and all these people fucking hate me on there. I had to go get a fucking sign to get in there.
I think that
But you know what probably happened was that I read internal infections like that can do a false positive, and also I had to do 3 drug tests negative to get back in, and I had to go to the actual lab where they processed it. And for a living, I processed lab like water quality stuff, and I was the quality assurance quality control officer. So I knew a lot about processing samples, not drugs, but water quality samples. But I knew a lot about changing your gloves, this and that, like chain of custody command and stuff. And I would go to this lab, and it was literally in an old fucking
dirty.
No, it was literally an old place of mechanics, and the chain, everything there was wrong. I would be there, and I'm like, "Oh, you're gonna change your gloves?" He goes, "Don't worry about it." I'm like, "Nah, I'm worrying about it." But like. And I just think that there was probably some fucking mix-up or something like that. I'm like, this fucked me up. Because then I went back to work and everybody thought I was like, fucking cocaine. Fucking
they're like, Miami Vice is back.
Yeah, and it was fucking embarrassing, man. My boss had to go in with me every time I took the drug test and like watch me piss in a fucking thing. It wasn't fun. Anyway.
So.
Hey, kids.
When I was, always still now, when I coach, I always tell the kids, like, if you guys ever need anything, I'm always here for you.
Crack and cocaine to get high.
So multiple times I've had kids call me years later about passing drug tests. Right. I don't know why they think I'm the one that they should call about that, but the funny one. So he calls me. I hadn't
send him some dry rub.
I hadn't talked to him in years, and he goes, "Coach Dave," and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" He's like, "I need your help." I go, "Anything, you know that." Well, I just got done with my undergraduate at a.
You're giving a lot of information about this guy.
Okay, I know how to tell stories.
Okay, I know, but we're gonna find out who it is. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, well, we can edit if I have a problem with it.
Okay.
Let me crack a beer for this one. Luis, you good? You know that one?
Yeah.
Nah, hit it.
All right.
Like how you thought I was worried about your storytelling. More worried about you.
You got me rattled, Forrest. Uh-oh. Hey, we found a new ASMR. IPA Dave ASMR.
Oof.
So this kid I used to coach calls me out of the blue and he goes, "Coach Dave, I got to take a drug test for this really prestigious medical program I got in, and I need your help." And I'm like, "Well, how can I help you?" And he's like, "Well, I didn't know I was going to get in, so I smoked a ton of weed at a party, and they're going to, they do the hair test. He's like, "So
if they do the hair test, you're fucked."
You right?
Yeah, it's shit from like a year ago.
Especially right around then, like that's when everyone was starting to do the Wizinators and all that, which was, I think, pretty effective. But he was like, "Yeah, they're going to do the hair test. I know they are." So he's like, "I listed you as my swim coach." He's like, "If anyone calls you, you got to tell them that you're my swim coach and that I have a very prestigious swim tournament coming up. And that's why I shaved all the hair off my body." And I go, "All right, wait, back up. I don't mind helping you. I don't even mind fibbing for you." I go, "But let's at least come up with a plan that might actually work. Let's not set ourselves up to fail here."
He'd already shaved it off, probably.
Well,
do swimmers do that? Every hair off their body?
For the Olympics? I was like, dude, you didn't even swim in college. Like, what swim?
It's like 50 pounds overweight.
Yeah. I go,
doing the butterfly.
What, like, recreational? They're going to think you're weirder for taking a recreational swim tournament this seriously. They're not going to hire you for that reason.
It's a pretty big deal. First prize is a $50 Best Buy certificate.
So we came up with this whole plan where he could like push it back, and I can't remember the story. We came up with a story. We came up with a story of why his head was shaved and all this kind of stuff.
You already shaved it, huh?
And he goes, "All right." He goes, "Dave, thanks, man. Appreciate it." He goes, "But what do I tell him about my eyebrows?" I go, "Wait, what?" "Yeah, I shave my eyebrows too." I go, "You're on your own, bro." I go, if you're the kind of person that was going to go in and shave your eyebrows for a swim tournament and it's not the Olympics, they're not going to hire you. You're done.
By the way, if he's You gave a lot of information.
He didn't even ask me.
I think I know who it is now.
Well, this was years and years ago, so.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Yep. He's going to end up down in South Miami at that same program you are because I mentioned him on the podcast.
So you haven't done. Luis has done a lot of drugs. We FaceTimed you one time. I think I was on mushrooms, right?
Yeah, I was just I took one.
What were you on?
One big hit of a weed pen. That was it.
That's all you were on?
I'm a lightweight, dude.
It seemed like you were on
Yeah.
some sort of prescription something.
What
I was on mushrooms and I was looking at you and I'm like, I feel sober. Whatever that was. We FaceTimed him we were in Vegas and it was like me and Kelly and Jack and
Yeah, I was already really drunk and I was going drink for drink because there's this other guy named Luis and we fight to see who's Luis number 1, who's Luis number 2.
Oh, yeah.
So we were going drink for drink.
that's
We
like
were,
Gallagher.
Tim and Dave and Loud Dave.
but we were going drink for drink. So we're both already fucked up. And he was like, no, if you really want to prove it, take a hit of this.
Oh.
So I took a hit.
Damn, he baited you.
And he was like, no, you got to do it until the light starts blinking. I was like, all right. So I keep sucking.
You let the other Luis punk you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
Luis
like,
too.
what, 6 seconds of like inhaling and then it blinked. And then after that, I just kind of like crawled into the fetal position. And that's when you guys FaceTimed me.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were on like crack or something. I don't know. You seemed like you were like gone, but
Yeah,
but
apparently.
mushrooms, you've done mushrooms?
I've dabbled.
You never done
Never done
They're
mushrooms.
therapeutic.
Yeah, I've been curious. A lot of people are doing ayahuasca now.
I've got plenty.
Yeah.
I've got plenty of mushrooms.
But here's the thing. If I were to
Hey,
do...
cops. They're legal here, right? We're in Oregon.
Yes.
That's where we record this.
We do this podcast in international
They're
waters.
gone. I've done them all, actually. I just remembered. I have a mutual good friend of ours just did ayahuasca. I'm not going to say who. I'm not on the podcast.
A lot of people do ayahuasca now. It's like a common thing now. It's like,
But I don't know if I'll do ayahuasca. I don't think it's going to solve them.
Sounds terrible.
Didn't help fucking Aaron Rodgers. He got worse. He did ayahuasca and got worse somehow.
Really?
Yeah, everyone is like, I stopped smoking, I stopped drinking. Aaron Rodgers is just a dick, and he's like worse at football somehow.
Well, he's worse at football because he's older and doesn't have as much weapons.
He did ayahuasca.
I don't think it's connected.
I think so. What's her name left him?
Oh, her, yeah.
Olivia Munn. Wasn't that who he's dating?
At one point, yeah.
Now he's married
She
to
got
someone.
she got knocked up by Mulaney, right?
Yeah, another coke addict. That's what he said, at least. Yeah, done. I don't believe that one. But
I'm just a boozer, bro.
well, I put some mushrooms in that beer.
What?
Yeah, are you feeling it? What do you think mushrooms are like? You haven't done them. What do you think they're like?
Well, they're a hallucinogen, right?
That's another word you can't say. What is the word?
It's a hallucinogent.
Keep trying.
It's a hallucinator.
Come on, Beneflick. Is it
It's a the other word I have a hard time with. Hallucinogenic.
You're making me not be able to say it.
Hallucinogenic.
Hallucinogen.
Hallucinogenic.
Hallucinogenic.
Hallucinogen, yeah.
It's a hallucinogenia.
Hulu Plus. Yeah.
I also have a hard time with the word inseparable. Inseparable? Oh, wait, did I get it right?
Yeah. Or unless you were trying to say insufferable.
No. Like when two people are best friends and they're inseparable. I don't get it. I think I cured the mushrooms cured me.
Okay, so it's a hallucinogen. To some degree, I don't think as much as what people think it is that haven't done it. Like I think people think like mushrooms are like you're like, well, I'm fucking seeing all sorts of visuals and stuff like that. You're not really seeing things that aren't there, you know? Like you'll see stuff and it might like move a little or like morph a little, but it's not going to be like, oh, a fucking, rainbow appeared and a fucking,
Like a hand wouldn't come out of my beer and be like,
flew down it. No, none of that would happen. That's like a way stronger hallucinogen. Maybe
The
acid
dragon
or
wings.
DMT or something like that, but not. No. You might think you see something like, what was that?
and then in the corner you just hear
sounds. Yes, sounds will fuck you up. Yeah.
just like a hurricane.
Now sounds will fuck you up. You'll think a sound from here is here and there, and sometimes you'll hear something that's like really you think is right here and is over there, and they're like, and it really like your senses get amplified, but in a good way. But I'll tell you the number one thing on mushrooms that you do is you'll have a perspective that you don't normally have, which is fun. But the number one thing is you will laugh a lot. A lot. I mean, you've done them, right, Luis?
Yeah.
You laugh a lot, right?
Well, the thing is,
You won't laugh at. I'm sorry, keep going.
No, the one time I did it, like everyone felt it at the same time.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel anything.
Yeah.
And so we're like, hey, how you feeling? I'm like, I feel nothing.
That's the annoying thing, though. You can't do it with people that are going to ask you how you're feeling.
Because they're
You just
like,
got to do it with people that let it go. Because then people, you feeling it, right? What you feeling? What's going on? You feeling? It's like, shut up.
yeah,
Like
I would say no. And they're like, oh, you think you're not, but that's actually the mushrooms. Like, you're actually feeling. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm sober.
yeah, that's another person you don't want to do
But-
with it. You think you're not, but you are.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't. Let's go away.
I'm
You'll
gonna
see some
tell you what you're
trails.
feeling.
See some trails? Yeah. It's like, shut up.
Let's smash some watermelons.
It hit me after, or like while everyone was coming down. So we're already in a hotel room. I was with Kelly and Jack.
Was I there?
You gave them to me, yes.
Oh, Louis naming names.
Was I on mushrooms?
I don't know. I'm not
okay.
sure.
I don't think your drug rehab worked.
Did not.
Yeah, because I actually went for a second dose from you because I was like, yeah, I feel nothing when everyone was already tripping.
Was I there? Was I there with my girlfriend at the time?
I don't know. It was in Vegas. It was in Vegas that we did it.
Because she said she wasn't feeling anything, and then we went to go walk back, and we went down that long hallway.
Uh-huh.
And again, I thought she was, but I'm not the type of person like, you're feeling shit, but you're not. I was like, okay, we'll just go back to the room. And then we got to the hallway, we were going back to the room, and it was like, she goes, I think I'm feeling it now. I was like, it is like patterns and shit. It's like, yeah. And then we watched this Vice program where Be Real from Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
He hosts like a weed cooking show, and he just looked, because that's one thing is like people that sometimes that you would normally see a certain way will look ridiculous. And we couldn't stop laughing at Be Real the way he looked on this show to the point where if you ever see her, and she does listen to this podcast, and just me bringing this up might make her laugh. But if you see her and you just mention Be Real and the Vice show, she'll just start laughing like immediately. Because he had on this fucking hat. He looked ridiculous. And he just, but some of like the funnest times like at mushrooms, like where you just can't stop laughing about shit. And then it's not even that it's that funny. It's just that you're letting your kind of guard down and just like, they're just like, all right, we're just gonna have a fun time among friends and whatever. And you're like, it's fun. So I would say you laugh a lot.
I didn't even have that chance though, because like I said, it hit me when like everyone was coming down. So everyone was already sober, talking about their experience.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to Kelly, and I was like, "Yeah, never felt it once." They're like, "No, you think you didn't." And as that conversation was happening, I looked outside the window and I saw the flag kind of wave a weird way. And I was like,
Start
"Hold on."
talking to you.
Then I looked.
But it doesn't really talk to you. Just in your mind. You're like, are they talking to me?
Well, no. Then I looked at Kelly's face, and this happened in the movie 21 Jump Street, but her eyebrow literally crawled from her face.
Whoa!
And I was like,
oh, guys, I think I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
See, my problem would be, one, I'm at a point in my life where if I were to do something dumb while doing something like drugs,
Yeah.
I would feel really guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Two, because, I have responsibilities and people count on me.
Yeah.
So I would need someone to babysit me.
Yeah.
And two, my small sample size with drugs tells me I'm not very good at drugs. And I would need someone to babysit me if I did something like that.
Yeah, but you do a small amount. You weigh it out and do it. Yeah. I'll be your shaman.
And three, my
Shaman,
small
get
sample
it?
size
A
of
shaman.
drugs and my large sample size of alcohol tells me that I'm not good at staying with small sample sizes of anything.
Yeah, but get it? I'm a shaman. I'm a shaman.
Yeah.
I don't know. Supposedly, Kelly and other people tell me you got to do mushrooms before. There's a lot of pressure she puts on me.
Yeah, you're
She always puts it. You got to do them before. I'm like, there's a lot of pressure. I just have fun. Jim said it the other day too. He goes, "Yeah, you got to do them." And then, all right. Anyways,
Fourth quarter.
a lot of names we named there.
Yeah.
Good thing no one listens to
we're
this
gonna call
podcast.
this episode incrimination.
They've all talked. All those people have talked about it. Well, maybe not.
Well, if
Some of
the side effect of good drugs is that it makes you laugh a lot, Forrest, I would say you're the best drug I've ever had, buddy.
I do need to do them though because they will be bad in about six. Not bad, but their shelf life will be in about 6-7 more months.
Okay.
I'm going to Vegas in January and February. So
Hey, I got some of that El Pollo Loco soup y'all were screaming about the other day.
fourth quarter. Yeah, you sent us a video.
Speaking of Be Real, I made a beeline over to Pollo Loco.
You're slurping the soup. It's good, right?
Yeah, I didn't know it was Pollo Loco because you guys didn't say El Pollo Loco, and that's the technical name. So
Yeah.
once I saw the sign, saw El Pollo Loco, I go, oh, I've seen a lot of these. These are things.
Yeah.
So you guys might
I
want
can see you'd be totally thrown by that.
you might want to be a little bit more accurate when you make fun of people for stuff.
Yeah.
It was very good. It was chicken tortilla soup.
That's what I said. I said tortilla soup, but the tortillas come in a bag on the side.
Oh, they didn't give me a bag on the side of tortillas.
Oh, I get it to go. You eat it there. They'll probably.
No, I got it to go.
Yeah, then they didn't put the tortilla in the soup, did they?
I don't think so.
It was a
Like
bad
the
branch.
crunchy,
that they did
crunchy
it.
tortilla.
Yeah.
It was it was not on the best street. It was close to Luis's house.
Yep, not on the best street.
Well, usually they put the tortillas on the sides if you don't want the tortillas, whatever, for if you're on some sort of diet. And
You want to hear something funny?
But there's a lot of chicken and shit in there. It's good.
It was really good.
This is very LA centric.
Lot of chicken.
But it's good. If you're in LA, everyone goes In-N-Out Burger. Fuck that. You want a chicken soup from if you're in LA, that's where you go.
I'm not even messing around right now. While I was eating it, I was talking to my friend, and he was telling me a long story about Be Real from Cypress Hill.
Nah.
Swear to God.
That's cooking show on Vice.
And all I can think of is, I got to get to this soup, bro.
Yeah. So you hung up. You're like, I gotta get up.
I was just like,
You sound better. You were sick.
Yeah,
That was like yesterday.
I just
You're better.
Snorted some Afrin in the car.
Yeah. Okay. Just try mushrooms.
Yeah.
There's a mushroom coffee. You tried that? Anyways.
No.
All right. Let's bring it back to something else here.
Well, what have we covered today? Gallagher, Jack Black, Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
The words you can't say. We should keep a running tab of that. Someone will do it. Richard will do it in Australia. Yeah, we're going to Australia.
I can list them all for you.
We're going to Australia.
Going to Australia.
I think we've done plenty. We've covered a lot. People will remember this podcast.
We're gonna get
days.
we're gonna get the tails, and we're gonna go to the Bahamas and do a photo shoot.
Yeah.
We're gonna invite our friends over.
The Heat won tonight.
Did they?
They're fucking terrible.
I thought they were gonna blow it. They were up 3 when I left
Everyone's
the house.
injured. Right. The other day they had 10 people injured of their 16.
Yeah, they had
players.
seven active players.
Yeah.
Let me see if Auburn won. Auburn basketball.
This is great podcasting. This is almost as good as your Switzerland story.
Do you want me to tell a good story from Switzerland?
No, I think we've done enough podcasting.
You want me to tell a good story from Switzerland?
No.
Good, because I wasn't going to anyways.
Yeah, I don't think you have any.
I do, man. I spent a whole summer there.
I know, but you went over there. That was back when you were like
Ooh, that was the first place I did Adderall.
frat Dave, you know?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I
was never in a frat, by the way, but I
would
was
have never
frat
been
Dave.
friends if I would have met you back then. You would have been like, "What's up, bro?" Dude, so what I do is, I've got my own solo cup that I shellacked. So, that I remember to lose it, and I put my name on it. And that's what I go to parties with.
No, we had pictures.
Everybody knows me. I'm Silka. And I got a little chain, put it around my neck, and then it's like,
No,
keg
we had
stands.
We had plastic pictures from this sports bar in Auburn. So we write our names on the side, and we just go fill up a pitcher and just drink out of it.
How many keg stands did you do in college?
All of them.
How many? Seriously. Just throw a number out.
Double digits.
Yeah, okay.
But I was normally the guy holding the cake stand guy.
Okay, still, how many have you assisted in and done total?
100.
100? How many keg stands do you think I've done or assisted in?
6. 0?
0 is the right answer.
You're missing out.
I don't think I am. I've seen many. I was like, I'm not doing that.
So we
I
used
want to stand on a...
Yeah.
You know what a keg stand is, Luis?
Yeah.
You done any?
I've done maybe
Yeah,
two.
Louise would hang out with you. He's
Yeah.
fucking fratty.
yeah, it wasn't a big. I didn't like cake stands though. Like it was just.
What
for,
about beer funneling?
So funneling is where it was at because it was more effective. Because like cake stands like didn't make sense to me because it's like
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. That's
yeah
like
you
physics.
spill
It's like-
everywhere. But a
it's like,
funnel.
what are you doing? Like you
Yeah.
guys suck the beer up?
Yeah, a funnel was an efficient way to get more beer into my body. And so we used to party with the Georgia Tech guys a lot. We played them at water polo a lot, so we got to be friends with them. And they were engineers. So one time they showed up at our party and they had this funnel that they invented where they like hit a switch and it wasn't just gravity throwing it into your body. It was like CO2 charged or something. And it was just like, swoop, right? So, you'd pour like a beer in there and then it's like, and then whatever. And so we were like going bigger and bigger with it. So they were on the second story of where my apartment was, and I was on the first story.
Yeah, okay.
And they put the tube all the way down, so it had all that gravity working, and all that space where they were just pouring more and more beers in. And I just got done wolfing down a few slices of pizza, and so I was already full, and I'd already been drinking beer all night. And then I don't know how many beers they put in this fucking
It's from
funnel.
2 stories?
Yeah,
Oh, well, it's just the funnel, and then they release it.
yeah. So then they
Probably
hit
like 2 or 3 beers.
they hit the button, and it forced it into my body, and it was like a cartoon where they like get filled with air and they become a balloon.
Yeah. It sounds like something like in the movie 7 they would have done.
It was just like, and then like I held it in for like 3 seconds, and then everything of my body went, just projectile everywhere. And like I was not a puker, you know, but like it's just the science of it. There was just no way it wasn't coming back out. And I just looked at everyone like water was coming out of my eyes. I was like, never doing that again.
By the way, I have 0 funnels for me too. Zero funnels, but
that makes sense.
But bong, we can talk about bong hits and gravity bong stuff. I don't like that. But so, how long have we done?
Or 56 minutes.
Perfect.
Okay, I'll save the gravity bong stories for another episode because I have some funny stories for that. But when's the last funnel you did?
Oh man, it's been a minute.
Would you do a funnel on the show?
Sure.
We don't have the funnels now.
I would do it for content. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna do a funnel.
All right. I mean, I've shotgun beers not too long ago.
Yeah. No, I want a funnel.
Okay.
We're gonna have to get a funnel.
Yeah.
What do we need? Like some tube and a funnel, right?
Yeah. Go to Pep Boys.
All right. We're gonna funnel. Yeah.
I'll funnel a beer. That's my promise to you, Merverts.
Yeah. And then maybe I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll do a bong hit. I haven't done one of those in about 30 years. I have a bong at my house. From they sponsored us on the podcast. He never got back to me. He reached out and anyways. Freeze pipe.
Oh, yeah.
we gotta start hustling for some sponsors.
I don't think we're ready yet for sponsors.
Our initial investment's almost up.
All right.
Hey guys, call the phone number if you want to leave we don't have any new ones, right?
4,
We already used up
7
all the other
Mervert.
ones.
347 Mervert.
347 Mervert. If you want to leave any comments or things we should talk about,
You want to send a funnel?
Yeah, you want to pre-buy tickets to Australia shows?
Yep.
Hit us up.
Yeah, those are going fast.
Venmo is at Dave W Comedy.
High ticket alert.
Actually, a real one is I'm selling raffle tickets where you can buy a $1,500 smoker from RecTech, an RT1250, raising money to bring a bunch of kids to Florida for a water polo camp. So go to my Instagram at Dave W Comedy if you want to buy raffle tickets to maybe buy a smoker from RecTech.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
And then come to my Florida shows. I'm going to be in Florida, Tampa, December 21st, 23rd at Side Splitters. And I'm headlining the Orlando Improv, December 28th. It's a Wednesday. DaveWilliamson.com at Dave W Comedy.
I'm going to be in Asia. Opening for Jim. Yeah. It's Forrest.net. They're on there. Then I'll come back. I'm going to be at the Comedy Cellar at the Rio in Vegas, the 9th through the 15th of January. Come out to those shows. Those are fun. There's a lot of comics on those shows. And I don't remember what after that. Just go to Forrest.net. But come to the Comedy Cellar. If you're in Vegas, the 9th through the 15th, it's fun.
Do it.
There's 2 shows a night there. You got plenty of
Forrest will do drugs with you. R.I.P. Gallagher.
I'll do mushrooms.
Hashtag Sinbad Strong.
Bye.
For they are the mermen.